While Bitcoin expectedly bounces at the strong convergence of both the 221 DMAs as well as a local support, the entire crypto market has bounced roughly 4% after a previous dumpy engulfing candle. But is this the true bounce we've been waiting for? And according to Plan B, best known as the creator of the birth control emergency contraceptive, Bitcoin is near guaranteed to hit at least this price by cycle end. But will the prophecy be fulfilled, or will the bears drag the Moon Boys to the back of their cabin and leave them covered in absolute dumpage? I'm your host, Sheldon Sugarbeans, and wow, do we have some mind-blowing, perhaps even mind-melting content for you here today, guys. Absolutely huge. We have a lot to be jumping into today, as Bitcoin has had a pretty strong bounce and has moved back above 48,000. But is this the bounce, the true bounce we've been waiting for? Or is there something much more mysterious happening right now? So if you're new to the channel, make sure to like, subscribe, turn the notifications, absolutely time-sensitive alerts. Make sure to check out the links in the description below for some bonuses, APY, and as well for the ADA competition. And without any further ado, let's dump on it. Unbelievable. So Plan B, after having saved millions and millions of human couples from being miserable and suffering by having a child, can Plan B do it again by predicting Bitcoin's price at the top of this cycle? Absolutely huge, guys. So according to Plan B's, obviously very famous at this point, stock to flow model, it has, by the end of 2021, Bitcoin potentially reaching $135,000 per Bitcoin. And his first incarnation actually demands that Bitcoin be an average price of around $100,000 this halving cycle. Very big. And as well as 50,000 obviously remains resistance at this point. Currently, we actually did make a move above 48K, but as 50,000 remains out of reach as support, opinions are differing over the potential impact of the U.S. Federal Reserve's annual Jackson Hole Summit, which is shortly to get underway. So usually these events, very likely can impact the price here. And I love the little side note at the end here about a double top, similar to 2013's, which again, I think is one of the more interesting scenarios as, again, we have not really had that many Bitcoin cycles to begin with. We have the Genesis and then a few halvings in here, so it's not like there's a lot of hard data or a lot of, there's not a very large sample size to really go on here. So, I mean, to be realistic, 10, 15, 20 years from now, we will have an amazing idea if this is all baloney or not. But 10 years from now, I'm glad that in 10 years from now, I am not going to be someone saying, I wish I had bought Bitcoin. I think we all know how that story ends. But if we jump into Bitcoin's price here, guys, so we actually, over the past few days, beginning on August 22nd, we entered kind of like a falling channel here. And actually, within the last few hours, we've made a move through its resistance line at the top here, where we got rejected on August 26th yesterday. Also where this 21 moving average is on the 6 hour, and that's where we're also facing that resistance now. So we got rejected here, which is also, it kind of converged with the top of this resistance, but we broke out of this now, but you see we're facing that resistance at the exact same level. So we are having a little move to the upside, but yeah, at this point, this could very easily just be a reaction bounce after a very dumpy day yesterday. Okay, you see a pretty big engulfing bearish candle here. We went from about 49,000 down to about 46, but we bounced exactly where I don't think anyone on the planet didn't think we were going to bounce right here, whether it's the real bounce and we keep going up, or it's a fake out bounce and then we continue lower shortly before heading up, or then the third option where the mega bears think we have a C, D, E, F wave down to 5 cents. But a bounce here is absolutely expected. I don't think it means too much because, again, I just think no matter what's going to happen, we're going to get a bounce here anyway. It's two of the strongest moving averages, period. The 21 and 200 is the exact same spot. And we have this, again, converging level of lower support, which we've been building up for about a month now. So a lot of big things happening right here. Again, all of these things line up here for support. No matter what happens, we're going to get a bounce in the short term. So the bounce doesn't really mean too much to me at this point. We're still watching this potential, again, similar like a rising wedge, but we all know it happened about a couple of weeks ago when we had the exact same setup and we seemingly did break down. And granted, we did drop about $5,000. But again, the full breakout target, especially in such a bullish environment, I think is going to be rarely met. So even if we do get bearish scenarios, bearish patterns, and they start to break down bearishly, we look to these targets that would make sense of what the actual breakdown would be. But very often in a bull market, you just won't hit them because things are just too bullish. And similarly, whenever we enter a bear market and we start seeing little micro bullish patterns start popping up, you know, it's very likely that, you know, say we do get little breakouts, they just never really hit their full breakout targets because it's overall a bearish trend. The context is really important. And if we're in an overall bearish trend, then obviously the bearish narrative and the bearish price action will overwhelm the bulls. But in my opinion, and I think a lot of people agree, we're in a bull market. So when we get bearish short-term moves, you know, if they don't fully play out, it's most likely because overall Bitcoin is bullish. It's really that simple, I think. But yeah, also what you can see here, guys, this is why this is so important. So back on August 12th, so about 2 weeks ago, we made a move up to this $48,000 level, absolutely key linguini resistance right here of the Fibonacci extension. And we found resistance there, got rejected, and then ultimately made an attempt, blew right past it, and you see we actually held this as support for a long time. And when we fell below it here yesterday, that's when we made that move from about 48 to 46. 49.4 to 46, so a little over a $3,000 swing. And now we've gotten a bounce here, and we've moved back up. So if we fail here, all that is more bearish confirmation of a short-term continued downside move. So it's really important that we break this. So again, even though we've had a really nice pump over the last few hours, it needs to continue in the short term for this to mean anything. And ultimately, if over the next few days we do head higher and we fail to set a new higher high, like we barely squeaked one out, you know, on this move, okay? We had a similar setup, some dumpiness. This is where we head down to about 43, and then we bounced and we set a higher high. Okay, so that was good. And then we attempted 50K though, and that's where we got rejected. So that's a big key now, because now overhead, the big level is 50K exactly. So I would not get excited just yet in the short term, and because I don't know, maybe 5-10% of the people watching have never seen this video before, one of these videos before of me, I just want to clarify, I'm extremely bullish for the next few months, but we need to be cautious here. With that being said, like I said a few minutes ago, these are hugely important moving averages, and they most likely will provide very strong support. So that is good. So there's a nice mixture of different things going on right now. Again, I still believe there's bearish divergence that has not fully played out yet. If we take a look on this weekly chart as well, currently this weekly candle is not really anything too bearish. It's obviously red, so it's not a bullish weekly candle as we've gone down since the previous week. But overall, yeah, nothing too substantial there. Obviously, biggest thing to be watching on this weekly is this insane cross we've been tracking since April. And yeah, just very important. If we take a look at Ethereum, we are struggling right at the 21-day moving average. So we need to get above that, obviously. And ADA is still way above everything because it has been absolutely explosive and just making insane gains over the last month specifically. About a month ago, it bottomed at $1. And then earlier this week, it touched at $3. Okay, so a 200% swing, absolutely very impressive, especially for a top 5, let alone top 3 cryptocurrency. But yeah, we're not out of the woods yet at all. We really need to, one of the things we want to make sure we don't do is flip this, which was resistance and then support. And if we flip this back into resistance, guys, we need to be a little bit careful here. What's up, you guys, new channel? Make sure to like, subscribe, turn on those ghost notifications to see absolutely time-sensitive alerts. Make sure to get your entries in. I have not added any new ways since yesterday, but I'll probably just add a few more questions. Again, this is set to end is soon, pretty much a day after ADA smart contracts are set to go live. And as well, if you're interested in earning any bonuses, APY, any kind of deals, make sure to check out tylerscrypto.com below. And the bonuses for TA and trading in the description and pinned comments as well. And without any further ado, that's it for me. Bye-bye.